the Niners have made a bunch of moves. What do you think of their plan, and what do you think of what they've done so far?
As we were discussing right before the show, I see the Niners kind of sticking to the plan that, kind of like everybody expected,
Yeah.
They hadn't really done anything surprising yet. Like everybody knew Trent Williams was the big get. It's who they felt like they had to re-sign to make everything seem to work as far as their vision of what they'll be in 2021. Mm-hmm. And to kind of, I guess, redeem themselves from what happened in 2020. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that viewpoint, but as I've been looking at this offseason, as the season has progressed, what I really see is like this window that, we can't seem, it's kind of like, Johnny Depp's movie, Secret Window. Like, it's this Super Bowl window that we have, like, Jades every move they make. Mm-hmm. Well, we can't really do a rookie quarterback because there's a window, and the veterans, they would get mad if you shut that window. Yep. And, well, we need to get a veteran guy who kind of knows Kyle's system because we're in this window. Yeah. And it's like, it's kind of aggravating as a fan because, like, how they got here was just work to me. Like, I didn't have the highest hopes for 2019 season. Yes. Like, Jimmy was coming off the ACL. I was kind of, I was kind of where you were, record-wise. Maybe 6-10, maybe 7-9 if everything worked well.
And the most optimistic projection was like 9-7 from certain journalists. No one really thought they'd be great.
No, and they just went out there, and every week they went out there and worked. Yep. And it was like after that season, it became, oh, well, we're this and we're that, and we'll show you. And it's a revenge tour. And, it's like they hadn't been able to get their grounding. I mean, like, I've been seeing a lot of, to me, slander on the timeline as far as Niners land, as far as Buckner goes. And I mean, like, we never get back to that leadership. Like, I mean, what was the difference between Buckner and Kittle? They both played their ass off, and they both wanted what they were worth as far as players. Yeah. But people slander Buckner like, oh, he wanted so much money, it was outrageous. I mean, I've seen people slamming, your coworker Jack Hammer about his opinion about Buckner leaving. Like, how can you not recognize what Buck did when he was here? Mm-hmm. Like, he's not a dependent position like Kittle. If Kittle doesn't have anybody to get him the ball, his value goes down tremendously. Not to mention who stayed healthy the whole time. Like, I mean, nobody recognizes that. And I mean, when you lose players like that, you lose something in the organization as a whole. Like, does Witherspoon do that against Miami with Buckner on the sideline? A guy who sweats blood, tears for the organization? Does he say, if you really, really need me, come get me. But otherwise, like, let that rookie, let him be burnt toast out there. Yeah. And then when he looks like crap, I'll feel like a hero and try to come to the rescue.
Right. That wouldn't fly with
Buckner. But we want to cry about him going to Seattle.
Right. And then you want to justify getting, we should have kept Akello, but Buckner, this is not our kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll give you another player. And like they never go after Kyle and John about this. And it's a problem I see. Okay, I think you brought it up the other day. Coleman starting in the Super Bowl. Yep. Like, after everything most of it already been with the Niners under Chip Kelly. And this guy who hadn't even played a whole season yet, you give him the start. Right. Like, as a trophy, because he's one of Kyle's guy, right?
That's right.
Okay, then we go into the offseason. You started 2019, you started Witherspoon. He was doing great. At one point, I thought he and Mosley were the best two corners, even though Sherman was completely healthy. Mm-hmm. So he gets hurt. Never really recovers after the injury, but you try to give him his job back. Yep. You can't quite get there. E-Man takes over, does a great job. If you want to point to the 3rd and 19 in the Super Bowl, fine. Beyond that, did a great job. What do you do come this COVID-shortened season? You don't even give a man the respect of saying this is his job to lose. Yep. You act like it's a competition leading in, and then you wonder why Witherspoon didn't have a great year. Yep. Okay, you bring in Trent Williams to play left tackle. You had Brunskill, cheap, Played left, played right, well.
Yeah.
Now what do you do with him? You jerk him around. Well, let me put you in guard. Well, I made a mistake at center and had an injury, so let me throw you there. Like, what do you expect from this man?
Yeah.
What I've never heard of an offensive lineman that plays every damn offensive line position.
Yeah.
But they tell you it's so hard to go from left to right tackle. But let's give this guy, he's a journeyman. So he can play any of them, but he's not great.
He's played all 5 for the 49ers. He has played all 5 for the 49ers.
He has played all 5 positions. And we wonder why he didn't have a great year or like, you know, and I mean, center seems like a big load to take on. So, I mean, I see the Niners kind of doing what they do. But I mean, as a fan, I hope they're right. But like we say, 3 out of 4 years, they haven't been as far as record.
Well, when I've had you on the show, we've frequently talked about the same topic, which is them basically running it back, like trying to keep together the team they had in 2019 as much as they can because they feel they have the winning formula. 2 things. They don't have the winning formula. And it's not the same team. Like they've lost Buckner. They're going to lose Tart now. They've lost Akello. They've lost Bourne. There's a lot of guys they don't have anymore, and they've tried to replace them. Alex Mack is an upgrade, I guess, if he's still good at 36. But otherwise, I mean, it doesn't seem to me like it's as good of a team as it was 2 years ago, and yet they think that, from every indication, they think they're Super Bowl contenders.
Right. And like I was thinking about player development the other day, and it's like if you look at like the great players, like I think the biggest hit to me for the front office and Lynch and the scouting department would probably be Warner. Like I think that's the one guy. It wasn't high in the draft, but you found a guy, and he is what you thought he was. But your other things, like, do you spend like did the linebacker from Tampa Bay, did we sign him pre-draft or after the draft?
Quan, they signed him pre-draft, right? Right when free agency hit. Yeah.
So you really didn't you didn't know what you were going to have in Greenlaw,
right?
But you know, but even if you didn't, like once you got into the season and you saw how good Greenlaw was, what do you do? Like before the season's even out, you restructure Quan's deal to make it like you have to keep him a little bit longer. Like when your genius Parag put into the deal to be able to get out of it after 1 year, like they do that. It goes back to that Saturday night. Like, hello, like I'm a Niners fan. I'm not a so-and-so's fan. Like, if it's good for the Niners, I'm happy with it. I'm not about all this family, like all this faithful to the Bay. Hello, like I'm coming to you from Texas, never lived in another state, and I'm a diehard Niners fan. So all that, I'm not faithful to the Bay. I'm faithful to the 49ers who don't even play in the Bay anymore.
True.
So like, you know, we're on a FaceTime and we Kyle Juszczyk and it's family and these guys love Jimmy G and it's a wholesome environment. Well, you're not winning. How wholesome is it if you're not winning?
Yeah.
You know, and just like the window we were talking about, where are all these players that want to play for Kyle? I'm still looking for them.
Yeah, it's
like
they're re-signing their
Buffalo
own
looks
guy.
like a desired destination, doesn't it? That's where Emmanuel Sanders decided to go to for a little money. So
the head coach isn't it? Yeah, the head coach is not a draw. It's. Do you have a quarterback or not?